I'm way too early. And we are live.
Good evening.
Good evening. Live and alive from different studio. Not a different studio, as in
Our
the
studio.
same studio, but studio different. That's what we named it, wasn't it?
Studio.
Makes a lot more sense. Today is the 6th of March. It's midweek mayhem.
And the weather is mayhem.
Weather is
I woke
mayhem.
up to a frost yesterday or the day before, sunshine, and then today was stormy this morning, then bright by this afternoon. I was like, I can't take all this
I know,
chaos.
and you don't know how to dress in the morning, don't you? You see like the frost and you're like, oh, I better like wrap
Wrap
up.
up.
I drive for like 20 minutes and I'm like,
Yeah.
I did not need this coat on when I started driving. It is way too warm.
I know. I kind of want to put the winter coat away now and go down to the spring jacket, but it hasn't got a hood. And I can't trust that it's not going to keep raining.
Yeah. And I am not carrying an umbrella.
Oh, I lose them and then it's no good for the environment. Although one of my friends the other day shared, do you remember those like little plastic hat things that you'd see the old ladies wear and they tie underneath their chin? She shared that she'd bought one of them and I was like, oh, I need one of those in my life. And then I thought, am I getting old? Like, so all these old women that we've seen, you know, when we were younger going, oh, look at that old woman with that thing on her head. They actually thought it was cool.
Yeah,
Because
so
now I think it's cool.
when you imitate an old woman, you put something around your head, don't you? Like, oh,
Yeah.
get me.
More viable is that to put a few of those in your pocket? You know,
I want to know if there's any fashionable ones. It's got to be.
I
What are
bet
they
there-
called?
I bet
Head.
head cover, like waterproof head cover.
Yeah, I'm just finding like ethnic
Yeah,
kind of covers now.
we've got a cat in the studio. You can be the researcher. Yeah, plastic headscarf. There we go, like that.
rain hat.
Yes,
Rain
so-
bonnet, that's it.
Yeah.
Right. Rain bonnet.
So if there's anyone out there that makes rain bonnets, send them to us. We're the ones to represent your product. I'll be repping that.
We're
Look at
happy to.
them. You could literally put one of those in all of your spring coat pockets, and then if you get a downpour, whip that bad boy out.
Ah.
Yeah, the clear fisherman hat is pretty cool, but I feel like that's definitely fashion though, having a fisherman hat. But these bonnet things, I like the see-through thing. Although to be honest, you lose all the heat from your head, so it'd be all mister.
Yeah, and can you imagine what your hair looks like under a hood when it's all like moved about?
Oh,
And
yeah.
like, I don't want to see what that looks like squished on the other side.
I was literally just thinking about my see-through wellies. I had see-through wellies one year and I absolutely loved them.
Sounds so fun.
I'm always wearing odd socks. The actual brand, not just like being odd for the sake of it. The brand socks. And yeah, I'd wear them under my wellies, which made my wellies look totally funky all the time. I was like, oh, I love your wellies. Oh, they're see-through. They're your socks. But after about an hour, they start to steam up on the inside. I was like, that's a surprise. And then I also had a see-through Mac for festivals last year. That steamed up as well. Yeah, so in Glastonbury, it was absolutely baking the year me and Jen went to Glasgow 2019. If anyone was at that one, and the sun was just relentless, so we filled these plastic wellies with cold water and slipped our feet into them. It was amazing. But then I videoed what like me sloshing about in them and put it on my story. I got the weirdest people. Like, I was like, this was a mistake. Yes.
Yeah, you'd attract the like, oh, and now they're sweaty.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know they stink. Give me them.
See my feet in the water through these see-through shoes. So yeah, it was quite the hit.
Should have got paid at that attraction for being like giving people entertainment.
I totally didn't at that point. That
Sedge is in the chat. Shout out to the
my shower cap. I put a shower cap on when I was at this hotel at the weekend. So anyone that follows me on TikTok will have seen my little video about that. And I'm sure that the video on TikTok actually includes the shower cap shot. But I put it on and I literally left it on for all of like 90 seconds. I was like, so hot. Like, it really makes your head sweat because obviously you're sitting in the bath anyway. Who can wear one of those and keep it doesn't keep your hair dry? It
Yeah.
makes your hair sweating.
I don't know if, I mean, I suppose if you've got long hair, you put it up anyway before you put it in. But if I haven't got a hair bubble, then shower caps to me are useless. I'll put it on my head and then it will just fall down with the weight of my hair.
I've used a sock a few times. But put your sock inside out on your hand.
But twist and
then-
pull over.
yeah.
That is
It
an
works.
ADHD hack, I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
because you get in the bathroom with all the stuff you need. You've not got a hair bubble. Like, well, I'm not going back out now.
I've
I'll use
tried.
my sock.
I've used a pair of pants. I've used socks.
Life hacks.
Yeah.
Join us for more life hacks. In fact, is that a good place to drop the intro? More life hacks on the other side
That's a
of this.
brilliant time to play the intro. Yeah, I always forget it. I'm so glad you remember.
Why is it like this? The haters should be loved, we invited. You don't agree, then you're the problem that we're fighting. Open up your mind, stand up, become righteous. Why is it like this? Instead of haters should be loved, we invited. You don't agree, then you're the problem that we're fighting. Open up your mind, stand up, become righteous.
My rights. Oh, you just heard me say my rights. Just looking crazy.
Well, rights.
Rights. Right, indeed. So, for anyone new here, I'm Steph. This is Lindsay. We're a different human design, and we are a ADHD and neurodiversity advocate and support.
Wow, that is a mouthful. Well done. That was marvelous. And we want you to spam that like button for us right now. Hit the like button so that you don't have to think about it later.
Subscribe as well if you're not. It really helps. It makes us cringe asking, but it does help.
And plus, I want that. My students keep saying, oh, you'll get the placard thing. You get actually sent a silver and different placards, don't you, for different amounts of subscribers that you get?
I have dreamt about that 100,000 mark
Yeah.
for so long.
I put it out into the universe earlier because an interesting thing that I was watching about words was that your words are spells, and that's why they're called spellings. And the word abracadabra holds a lot of magic. So 100,000 subscribers, abracadabra.
Ooh, abracadabra. Yeah, all the things. Where's the sage? Where's the like everything that manifest? So yeah,
on vision board, everything.
you
Getting
go.
on it.
If you're feeling the energy through there, you know you're getting the urge to subscribe and like right now.
It's all these people like wandering toward their computers as we speak, like this magnetic pull. I just feel like searching for an ADHD podcast and subscribe.
I must subscribe under our spell. But another way that you can support us is through our Patreon. So as you can see, I've managed to get it in English. Yeah, for some reason it was given as Espanol, so but I've managed to fix that. What we said we'd do last week is pick a Patreon of the week, of the month.
So we're gonna shout out different Patreon every single week, but every month we're gonna do a draw of all the Patreons. So everybody that's on there will get a chance to win every single month some kind of little merch from us, maybe even a hand drawn image from Steph, our artist.
We've got all sorts of little bits that like we like creating. We've got like notebooks, we've got all types of merch from t-shirts to we can make
Badges.
it really fun. And I like the idea of customizing something.
Yeah,
for
something
painting or-
particular.
yeah.
Think about some exciting things from the raffle winner. But this week, shall I shout out the Patreon right now?
Yes, definitely. Have you
I've
got
gone
one?
with the first ever person to ever subscribe, and that was our dear Alison, aka Lindsay's mum.
Mama Bear.
Literally,
Shout out, Alison.
the level of support from this woman. She is my biggest cheerleader, and I don't want to cry. But yeah, so our Patreon of this week is the absolutely fantastic Ali. And
We love you, Ali.
appreciate you so much. But when you go onto our page, it does say join for free. That is one of the options. But if you scroll down, there is the option to pay £1 a month. A pound of pluck is worth a ton of luck, and it really, really is. If we can get a few of you each week to sign up for £1, then it's going to make all the difference to this platform and what we can do.
Yeah, definitely. From the content that we make to the support that we provide, like it will just help us expand and expand and expand. And like I said, it's absolutely nothing to that individual,
Yeah,
but the difference it
mass.
can make. So yeah, if you're looking for a way to advocate for the neurodivergent community, we are a great place that you can do that. We offer free resources. Lindsay creates some incredible guides, and all the content that you see here. So this is what you're supporting, and we're so thankful to all the current subscribers that we have, the members. Oh, I think some Spanish just in that bit,
I think
apparently.
there's quite a few now. I think it's like 16 to 18 active members or something. So
So apparently there's 19 members and 16
paying
that
ones.
pay it. Yes.
Well,
So
yeah,
cool.
we'll keep shouting out a different name every week, and then, like I say, every month there'll be a chance to win something.
You don't see Jeremy Kyle doing that. I don't think he has a program anymore, so he wouldn't anyway, but maybe he did give out holidays, I don't remember. But today's episode, we need to focus because the time gets away so
I know it
quickly.
does.
We've got a cool week. If you've seen the post on Instagram,
I love that post.
nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Canva did a lot of the work. Shout out Canva, by the way. If you have a small business and you're trying to do your marketing like through paid, get yourself some Canva.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is very good.
Does most of the work for you. But anyway, today's topic is International Women's Day.
Which is on Friday.
It is on
This week.
Friday. We don't have an episode on Friday, so
Yeah, girls are awesome. Or am I
singing.
Oh no, hold on. There we go.
Showcasing the breast. A key women feature.
I know, I always think it's really strange that if we sat with a guy here and I was topless and he was topless, my nipples would be offensive, or however you want to look at it, and his nipples would be allowed. Very strange.
Yeah, but like apparently because yours have some like function to like giving life and I don't know, being sexualized, let's be honest, that's the most reason, isn't it?
Yeah. That is partly, if there is any gripes of being a woman, that is my biggest gripe, is the fact that everything about being female is so sexualized.
Yeah. There's a list of things that's like just unfair about being a woman. That is high up there on the list. It's like, get a grip. Everything I do apparently is to either make you want me or I'd send a message to some sort of man, and I resent that.
Yeah, no, I certainly do. The older I'm getting, the way more kind of, when I was in my 20s, I didn't realize that I was playing into that, if you see what I mean, and that I was giving a lot of power to males because I just accepted it for what it was.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I'd been brought up. That's how it had always been.
I was told by other women. I was directed by other
Yeah.
women, by magazines, by idols. Like, if you want to get a,
This
if
is
you
how
want
you
to,
get a man, bag a man and keep him happy, and this is how you stay with a man, and it's
I was obsessed with that. And I read an article recently that when it said something like, when I decided to decenter men from my life, is when her whole outlook and the success she got changed.
yeah.
Like, and it's so important when you're young, you're like, I've got to have a boyfriend. I've got to, especially if you've got that insecure attachment style. Hey-oh. But now I get glasses like Jeffrey Dahmer's and it keeps the men away.
Where's the chat? Just concerned if people do chat, I'm not going to be able to see what they're saying. Oh, okay. Nobody's talking to me. Oh no, I can see the chat down here as well.
just to unveil that no one's chatting. Get in the chat.
I was very aware that we might end up with some trolls in the chat because we're talking about, because all day I've been quite stressed about talking about this topic. Because I don't want men to think that we're dissing them on a whole. It's not that at all.
We make that point. I'll let you, and I'll let you finish.
No,
I'm
it's
Kanye
okay.
West right now. But the
It's
fact that
fine.
you even have to preface that men are like, oh, what about us? Just hold on. It's not about you today. Jesus.
Really stressed. And B, the thing that I kept thinking is that a lot of the males in my life, even with the best intentions, just don't get it because behavior changes when they're around. So, for example, like I hung around my brother for a lot of years. I lived with him for a long time. The way men treated me in front of my brother is drastically different to how they treated me when I wasn't with my brother. So he can be forgiven for not really understanding how and why women moan about their experience. Do you see what I mean? Because they just haven't experienced it, so of course they don't get it.
Yeah, it reminds me of that, like when women say, "I've got a boyfriend, sorry," and it almost that's the way that it will get another man to respect me, as if
Yeah,
another man has something to say about it. Me alone saying, "No, sorry, I'm not interested."
yeah. It's why aren't you interested? Because I'm not.
Oh, she just wants me. It's like,
But then the minute you say no, I'm not interested, the insults start, don't they? So it's a very
um,
quick switch from somebody being interested and being the charm to suddenly
you know,
calling you every name under the sun. It's like, is it not okay just
you know,
to chat and then not be an end game to that chat?
"Oh, you're ugly anyway."
You're like, oh, okay, thank you. I'm glad that you've shown your true colours now.
Yeah, which tells me you either got butthurt and changed your mind, or you think you're that unattractive that you went for someone that you think is less. Before you set out to come and talk to me right now, or grope me on the dance floor, you lowered your standards.
To talk to this ugly woman. Yeah,
What's wrong with
really
you, dude?
strange. I mean, the thing that I read once and it really shocked me was that, and again, I'm not having a go at men, but in terms of my experience, I was like, wow, is that men are only polite to women that they want to sleep with or women that they find attractive. So it's like and that's why if you're nice to them, they're assuming that you want to sleep with them because they couldn't imagine being nice to a woman if they weren't interested.
Yeah.
So that's where it comes into play that because the amount of times I've been, oh, well, you were flirting with me all night. I wasn't. I was just talking to you. You know, I was having a laugh. I thought having a laugh. I didn't know that, this was being read into, or like you say, I was being friendly. I was being nice. That's what.
Way too friendly.
Yeah, what do you mean you're way too friendly? Like, that's because their mindset is different to our mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, because unfortunately, these men were directed by the same men and women that we were directed to and telling us that we need to do X, Y, and Z to get a man. They're being taught the most ridiculous things of how to be a man, which will get the woman. And it's bollocks.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's like this is why we're not attacking men at all because it is like we've all got to open our eyes. We've all got to accept that things need to change.
You're victims to this toxic masculinity as much as the rest of us are. So we're advocating for you as much. But just today, guys, calm down. It's not about
It
you.
will be Wednesday. Check the date, but I have checked it before and it's around October time. So we will talk about you then.
We'll make a whole dedicated episode where I literally read off all the things I love about men. I promise you, I'll make a huge thing about it. Every man gets a cake. I don't know.
Like you say, we're not here to talk.
You've got some awful role models out there. For today, you will also gain perspective and you will gain benefits through this, and you'll see that by including women, we all succeed.
Yeah, I mean, we had a bit of a debate in the classroom earlier, and it was all lads, and the first thing they brought up was, well, what are you saying then that women are as good at football as men? And I went, well, I'm saying that the way we play football and the way men play football is different. And they went, well, if women are as good as men at football, why don't we play against each other? And I went, stand up a minute. And he was like, and he stood up and he's towering over me. And I went, come and stand next to me. And he's come and stood next to me. And I said to the audience, do you think it'd be fair if I was playing against him? Or do you think that we're different? And they were like, and it was just making them laugh then. And I was like, exactly. I'm not saying that we're better. We're not, it's just not about us being better or you being better. We're different.
It's a
We've
terrible.
got different qualities,
Yeah.
different skills, different styles, and that's okay.
The woman footballer is a terrible example as well because the English team, didn't we win the last World Cup?
Well, plus, my sister would skin all of you like. I'm just like teasing them, having a bit of a laugh. But this whole kind of that thing straight away, if we'd beat you, we're better than you. It's like, come on, simmer down. We're not trying to compete.
We've invented fire and the wheel. We're a bit more ahead of it now.
Yeah.
Let's go past the grunting and groaning and let's talk about emotions and stuff. Emotions and kittens and all the gross things that women want to talk about.
And then, you know, it's okay for men to cry and stuff. And I was like, exactly. I said, you've been subject to gender roles as much as we have.
Yeah.
And this is why we want to create a whole, more of an equal battleground for everybody, you know? Like,
it's all right saying, oh, men don't get the space to cry. I know when I cry around a man, he's uncomfortable as hell.
yeah, like,
He doesn't like it either. And I've been
Yeah.
called manipulative for having emotions like this. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you're just dropping the tears because you said, like, hold on, I'm not an actress. I don't know how to do that. Secondly, like, apparently neither of us can cry, actually.
But the thing is, when men get angry, they tend to shout and punch things. Just because we're not doing that, you
do that.
see, well, see what I mean though? It's like we're usually crying, and that's the other thing. If you do show anger, then you're a psycho. You know, it's like
That's just shouted psycho.
Yeah, but
how many women have heard that just by setting some boundaries?
Yeah,
and then
you're a
losing their
psycho.
shit when they've gone too far. Oh, right. Let's get into this. So, first of all, the thing that annoyed me, I've already said before we've got in, and it's so aptly timed. Cheers, Rishi Sunak, and the Tory government, as always.
Say it. I think at some point we ought to cover a "Are you going to vote?" type thing, because I think as a neurodivergent we don't tend to understand politics or voting or whatever. But so I'm not going to sidetrack too much with that. But it just really got me going today when I was listening. I think half the country have just absolutely gave up.
Oh yeah, I've got you back. So I'll turn you all into socialists. No.
Well, the ADHD one.
Yeah, definitely. I'm down. It'll be better than anything that's out there. So the financial budget was unveiled this week, and as expected, the Tories have further cut the support of many services and resources available to the working class. As always, we've taken the brunt of it from the community of people that use private healthcare, they have the money for these things. We rely on these national services, and again, they're being cut, which will have further effects.
Yeah, it would kind of widen that gap even more between the higher class and the lower classes.
So something they also did on top of that, which I wasn't expecting, is the plan to cut all diversity and equality programs that are currently set in place. So if you remember, I'm trying to think of the age you'd have to be, probably around, I'd say 2 or 3 years younger than me was when it would have come out. Any younger than that, you'd probably just always have had it in school.
Yeah, it was a new thing.
Yeah. Do you remember we had PSHE where we'd learn about diversity and equality and different races? It wasn't quite like RE. It was a little more on like the social basis, like different religions, different cultures, different ways around the world that they do stuff. I remember learning about tribes and all these different things.
Yeah, and the thing is that opening your eyes to the fact that you're normal doesn't mean normal.
These programs were put in place to help people live together in this world. So in the UK, we're very multicultural, multi-diverse. It's very, we live together. And to be able to get us to get along and understand and appreciate
prejudices.
Yeah, not just tolerate each other, but to celebrate each other and enjoy living with each other. We have these programs that help educate people, and it gives it that extra knowledge than what these kids are getting at home. We were talking earlier, like a lot of parents, unfortunately, are led by either the Tory government or just the racist kind of way. They're set in stone, and teaching kids that, has happened for generations. But we've had the luxury of getting taught at school and through other institutions that isn't necessarily the truth. Here is learn about racism, different cultures, and you start to get your own views from that. Not everyone changes their mind. Some people still remain racist.
It's just more about having that variety of perspective, isn't it? So that, because I remember being brought up in quite a typically kind of, white working class family with some what I would see now as old fashioned views on things. But I didn't question that until I heard other teachers talking differently. And then you're like, hold on a minute, there's a different view. It was really important.
Definitely. Because my parents would make arguments that I wouldn't be able to question because I didn't have the knowledge for it. So I'd go, oh, okay, well, that does make sense. And then I'd learn about it and realize that the truth in all these things are so wrong. Like this whole go back home. I'm not even going to get into the racist stuff now. We're going to focus on women because that is another minority group, unfortunately, that will suffer through these kinds of changes to our society.
One of the things, unfortunately, that's happening right now in schools is that we've got one of the most I can't say this word, misogynistic youths that we've ever had.
Yeah. Cheers, Andrew Tate.
Yeah. And to the point where it's become quite common in the classroom for female teachers to be degraded and sexualized by students, thinking that that's okay, or making comments along the lines of, yeah, well, you women, you know, this, that, and the other. And it's so terrifying because it's almost undoing, you know, like feminism at the minute is seen as such a hated thing because people don't understand it. They hear feminist and they think, oh, you know, what a load of crap. Well, if you've got a daughter or a mum or aunties, you know, you should be a feminist. It just means that we want equity and that, you know, that we're all worth the same with all of the same value.
Unfortunately, the people that, you know, have the control within this world benefit from you not understanding that. They would rather you hate each other. They would rather
Yes.
that white rich men got to decide everything.
Yeah.
And because they
Divide and
know what they
conquer.
do to people that don't make the decisions, that are the minorities, so they are not going to let themselves become the minority.
Yeah.
Not easy anyway. We'll get them.
I mean, it's the topic of the brain, and one of the things I don't think I kind of went on about it as much as I wanted to was the ability for subtle information that comes through on social media to actually shape your thoughts and beliefs without you really realizing that it's this drip feed of certain information that then normalizes it. I mean, even the beauty standards, the way that some of my students kind of view themselves, because the beauty standard is seen as a certain type of woman.
Yeah. Have you heard of Sephora Kids?
No.
So Sephora is a makeup shop that's in America and some places in Europe and stuff. It's being reported that like people as young as like 12 are going into these Sephoras and they're buying
I
skincare
have
that's
heard
like drunk elephant stuff that's like
Yeah, drunk
70 quid a bottle, and they're putting these chemicals. They're for anti-aging, and they're
Yeah.
using them. And this generation is aging themselves quicker because
ever
they're
before.
absorbing this stuff on TikTok that's meant for grown women, insecure grown women at the best of it, and they're still. This is getting through to kids. It is terrible. Some you see in TikToks where like women are in shops with their kids, and they're like, "Oh, she's begging me for this Tatcha this cream, eye cream," and it's like,
And the thing is, there's nothing
no.
wrong with having pride in looking after your skin and, you know, having to wash every night, keeping it clean.
That's all you need as a kid, though.
Yeah, clean it, keep hydrated. Water is the thing. Don't smoke. You know, there's certain things that are going to
Lots of
age your
water.
skin. But like you say,
Yeah.
even the amount of makeup and fake lashes and stuff like that. I mean, I've got 15-year-old students that can't wait to turn 16 to 18 so they can go and have Botox. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, why do you even need Botox?
Every woman online or in your face right now has got filler, and they're using this like natural, so it's not as like pronounced as it used to be when, you know, remember like the Katie Price of our days sort of thing. So you can't believe you can get a bigger bum. A Brazilian butt lift, I'm not gonna lie. I've got a big bum, but it's flat, and I have considered it. But
well,
that
I
in
saw
itself,
fillers. So my nose is not the perfect profile, and the perfect profile is in the beauty standard that I've been fed that is perfect.
exactly.
And now you can go in and have injections, filler in your nose to keep that straight line or whatever, like filler in it. Can you get a filler to make your nose go smaller? Here is a contour. Contour, isn't it? But and again, this is kind of going to go off topic slightly, but one of the things that really gets my goat is when I see lads share these videos, you know, where the girl looks totally different without her makeup and compared to her makeup, and they're like, "Oh, this is what does my head in about women," blah blah blah. I'm like, but the thing is, these women have been pushed into doing all of this because they think that's what you want.
Exactly.
A and B. Why don't you learn to recognize when a girl's got a load of makeup on and stop going for those girls? You know, you can tell. So,
men,
you know, wise up, educate yourself.
Yeah.
Which women have got loads of makeup on, rather than be shocked when they take it all off and don't look like that.
When a lot of like men and boys say they like women the natural look, they mean way more makeup than a normal beat
Yeah, they
just
don't
to
know
look
what.
natural.
Yeah, they don't really know what
They
natural
have
looks like
no
anymore.
idea what goes into all that baking and layers to make it look perfectly natural. Like you're idiots. Peace and love, you're idiots.
The other thing as well is hair growth, not hair on your head, as in hair patterns in women. I think is way more common than what women dare to talk about. And the girls get really like they're shaving their faces because to even have like peach fuzz now is seen as like,
Microderm.
yeah, but not even ones that can't microderm properly. They're just getting razors and they'll just shave it. So it's like, and the same if they've got snail trails, which is normal, and they'll shave it off, and then it comes back, and it's like worse. But
To any young girl that has a snail trail, just
I've
be
got a snail
careful
trail.
because I had one as a kid. I don't have one now, and I've never shaved it.
they're going to say it changes with my hormones,
Yeah.
like, and when I was younger, God, I was really hairy, but that was just my hormones were settling down, and it did settle down. But my point is that I've mentioned to lads before about their girlfriend waxing their mustache off or whatever, and they've looked at me horrified, like, my girlfriend doesn't do that. She does, like, and it's just that kind of
For you.
Yeah, because she's terrified of what you will think of her if she's not done that. And it's like the fact that men don't even realize we're doing these things is just amazing because but they've been
we're nagging.
But they've been subject to the same brainwashing. They've seen these adverts of the Gillette ladies with the absolutely smooth legs and hairless arms, and they just assume that that's what every woman's like. Well, it's not. There's a whole range of us that are hairy beasts underneath these clothes.
The one that gets me is the random nipple hair that doesn't start length. It just randomly you'll look and it's this long.
And you're like, to me in the show. And I was like, where did that?
Kept saying her chin.
Yeah, chin hair, the older that I've got, and I point these things out to my students. Like some of them are trying to grow a mustache. Yeah. Some of them are trying to grow mustaches at the minute. These young lads, they're really excited when they're growing mustaches. And I'm like, hey, wait till you get one like me. And I always try and have a joke because I'm trying to normalize it with them whilst they're young, that women have these hair patterns too. It's not as pronounced in most women, but still, I remember being bullied at school because I had hairy arms. Oh, yeah. I've got hairy arms. I'm a human. They're arms with hair on. You've got hairy arms too. But because I'm a girl, I shouldn't have. Like, why shouldn't I have?
And if you don't like your hairy arms, shaving them will just make them so much hairier.
But
it's just the negative reinforcement. Like, no, don't do that.
It's the other thing in terms of how much more money we have to spend on all these beauty products and then these like I was getting ready for a date night a few months ago, and I thought, literally, you've just jumped in the shower, if that, if you've even bothered to shower and you're ready. I've spent 3 days preparing. I've had my eyebrows waxed, tinted, my eyelashes done, the lot. It's cost me £75 just in prep before the date's even here.
I know exactly what you mean. You've just gone through like a conveyor belt of like procedures, spent all this money, and man's flexing an all-in-one fucking cleaner. Yeah, I can shave my pits, balls, and face with this. It's like, great, dude. Is that? I need a specific cream for this finger.
There's the pink tax, isn't there? And there's the ADHD tax. So we're getting hit hard. Like,
I feel like Ian Beale. I've got nothing left.
That is such a funny clip, actually. Poor Ian. But the pink tax, for anybody that doesn't know, is the fact that women's razors cost way more than men's razors. Women's hair gel and stuff cost way more than men's. So if it's pink and it's for women, it's at least £3 more than men.
You buy a man's razor, like shaving razor, not like an electric one. Put it next to the shower. See how long it takes for it to rust compared to
a
female counterpart. Honestly, it's months before that starts to rust.
The women's ones, it's like designed to be renewed. Yes,
the cat says she nicks her partner's razors. Do it.
They're cheaper for a start.
But it's crap that you have to be in a relationship for things to be cheaper. This idea that the economy goes better with you having 4 people in your household sharing a toothbrush, sharing, it's just, life shouldn't have to be like that. You should be able to be impactful on your own.
Difference between men and women is the unpaid work hours. So one of the things that came up in the classroom earlier with the lads, because I said, but we have to deal with more in our in our heads, and they were like, oh, what do you mean? And I said, because a man looks after themselves and a woman looks after everyone in their unit. So the woman is like, and I'm basing this on, this is a fantastic book, by the way. It's like absolutely rampacked with studies, like it's all fully backed up, and
We love it.
it will blow your mind how biased
Yeah.
it is. But things like the unpaid work hours, because it usually is the women that are taking people to doctor's appointments, taking people to clubs, looking after the elderly people in the family, doing the food shops, looking after the kids' needs. All of that is extra. So a man finishes his day at work, goes home and does what he wants to do. A woman finishes her day at work and then starts the unpaid work
So
that are her responsibilities.
yeah, it's easy to see through during not even that long ago, as women started to get more rights through like the contraceptive pill, all these different ways that they can newly live their life, it was put to them that now the whole household would become even. Now that you can go to work, the husband will now come in and share the household duties. But what happened was this very unfair labor share where the woman would be going to work the same as the man. But then the woman is doing everything at home on top of the childcare, everything
And the
in the
child
home.
and having periods still, and it's
Meanwhile, there's a guide to household to wives in the I think it's 1930s. It's like greet him with a martini.
make sure you've got your lipstick on and stuff like that.
But this is like government given advice. It's ridiculous.
But the thing is, as well, is quite often I've lived with men in the past, not even romantically, just in terms of sharing a flat, and they're like,
I'll help you.
and I've done the pots for you. You've done the pots for me. Oh, not because you ate off the pots.
No, what
You've done the pots
about doing that here.
Yeah, you've done the pots for me. And it's that attitude of, oh, but I've helped you out. What do you mean? Like, oh, it's my role, is it? Like, there is a lot of gender roles.
I'm going to give you a tip here, guys, because I'm going to give you the charitable benefit of the doubt that you think you're just helping by saying, babe, is there anything I can help you with?
Just do it. Look
when
around.
when did I last ask you if there's anything like
Yeah.
just do it. This is your home too. This is your space too. Have pride and look after it.
Yeah, get the Hoover out and Hoover for the sake of hoovering, not because somebody's asked you to. I always remember one of my flatmates pointing I said something about it getting dirty, and he went, "Yeah, I noticed that the other week, but I didn't want to say anything." What do you mean you didn't want to say? You mean you didn't want to clean it up? Not you didn't want to say anything.
Oh, I was thinking you hadn't seen it because you'd done nothing about it. But now we've got to that conclusion.
Yeah, it turns out you did see it.
Why is it still there?
You've been harboring. Why I've think
well, you've just admitted to not caring about any of this.
Going back to this book though, there's so much in there in terms of that we're paid less for the same jobs, and our jobs in general, the job pool that are available for most women is paid less, and how unfair it is in terms of women taking time off to have the baby, so then they miss out on like their pensions are less because they've actually put less into the pot because they took like 10 years out to have 3 kids. And honest to God, it's such an eye-opener, but to the point where it's actually quite distressing and depressing. But it made me realize that there is still work to be done, and that it's still valid to say, women aren't equal, and we do have a hell of a long place to go, even with the medical things.
That was literally what I was going to get onto. That was literally how that's a perfect link to it. Because, the theme for this year's International Women's Day is inspire inclusion, and this understanding that if you include women, that we all benefit, basically. And a way that I would like to see us included is in the medical books, in research, in diagnosing. Endometriosis, as you know, I think I've been struggling with. Cat shout outs down there, feeling exactly the same. Endo is a disorder that takes roughly 7.5 years on average to be diagnosed, despite it being the second most common gynecological issue that you can have.
And Kat's just shouted out 10 years for her to get diagnosed.
10 years. She was misdiagnosed with IBS for 10 years, and I feel like
it's stomach. No, it's related to my womb and my ovaries.
100%.
The thing is, women do make up 50% of the race there or thereabouts, and yet medically, there's so much not known about our bodies. It's absolutely insane. I think I heard a statistic recently where in America, didn't even have to be included in studies till 1993. So up until then, they didn't even have to include women in the studies. It was all just based on men.
And so, yeah.
And it's heart attacks, isn't it? That's come to the forefront quite a lot recently, that women are completely missed when it comes to them having a heart attack, because the way they display is completely different. So
Completely
people
different.
don't know they're having a heart attack and they've died, or, you know, gone past certain points of it being saved.
Yeah, definitely. I found it was just a funny little Instagram video that by the creator Dana Mercer, and it's one of them like, I'm a woman, of course I themes, and I just found it hilarious. So yeah.
IUDs without pain medication, because doctors are still saying that the cervix doesn't have nerve endings, but the new male IUD, Adam, was immediately qualified for local anesthetic. For women, of course, there are 5 times more scientific studies on erectile dysfunction, which affects 19% of all men, than there is on PMS, which affects 90% of all women. For women, of course, it took until 2023 for period products to be tested using actual blood and not just water. For women, of course, it takes on average 10 years for endometriosis to be diagnosed, because a woman's pain really can't be taken seriously. She's probably just hysterical.
Oh my, it actually does anger me, you know, because it's so true. And again, we're up against this fight, even against our male friends, where they're like, oh, it can't be that bad. And the other one, when it comes to women, is funding. So over the years, the amount of meetings that I've gone to about funding or sponsorship or whatever, and the statistics are there that you're much more likely to get. I don't know what the stat is off the top of my head, but it's about 90% more likely to get funding if you're a male, a white male at that. So if I'd have sent my brother in, if only he wasn't so shy, to front my funding bids, I'd have been funded years ago for all of my ideas. And the thing that happens to me and gripes me the most is I go into these meetings, they're going so well, and I can tell that they're really interested in what I'm doing. And then it kind of gets to the end of the meeting, and then they're almost like that, you know, they'll ask me out or something. And then obviously, because it doesn't go that way, I then don't get the backing, that it's almost like it's withheld because I'm not interested, like more than a professional relationship. And it's like, but if I was a guy, that wouldn't even be part of it. You'd just be like, oh, this is a wicked idea. Here's my sponsorship, or here's my back into that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, what do you mean you're not going to come and sleep with me? What do you mean you're not going to come to this hotel with me? What do you mean you're not going to come on a date with me? All right. And then that's the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
And honest to God, that has been my experience over and over and over again. And it's like, but then you also get people saying to you, oh, you're all right. You could just sleep your way to the top. What do you mean? Like, A, if I could do that, like, why aren't I at the top then? But B, if I don't, why should I have to? You know, it's the men. You're saying it's okay then for those men that are in that position of power to withhold it till I sleep with them. I don't know. It's like,
Realize that in that moment they've just admitted that more men are in power for women to sleep with to get. So you get it.
yeah,
There is
you
an
do get
equality.
it. Yeah.
We're on the same page now. Let's stop talking about what I can do with my vagina, and let's get me some equality.
Yeah.
The statistic for 2023 is that men get 6.2 more funding. Is that percentage? I imagine.
Probably applications like six times more likely.
Men get 6.2%, 2 times more funding than women into. Okay, yeah.
The other thing that's sad is that there's loads and loads of ways for men to get rich. So, you know, if you're born poor and you make it rich in your lifetime, there's loads of ways for men to do that. The top way for a woman to do that, and pretty much the only way still, is to marry a rich man.
Right, okay.
And it's like, you know, like our opportunities to get rich whilst we're alive is far lower. And the top way is still just to marry a rich guy. It's just like, oh my God, that is so depressing. I've got so much to offer. And then obviously, I've never wanted to have kids. I've not been into all of that. And that kind of shock horror of, well, why are you even here then? You know, like what you know, as though the only female purpose is to breed. It's like, no, you know, this isn't, don't get me wrong. I think females are great nurturers, and that for me is one of my purposes.
Yeah.
You know, I nurture a lot of young people and hope to give them the best start in life. But just because I don't want to birth one myself does not make me any less valuable than another woman, or valuable as a woman, should I say? Because it's kind of like, well, you're not going to sleep with me and you're not going to have a baby. Why are you here?
Whoa, whoa,
How
whoa,
dare
whoa,
you
whoa.
survive?
Yeah, it's crazy and it's scary, to be honest. This is why we do things like this. We're not just here to be shitting on men. That's not the goal at all. I love men, and I love men when
Yeah,
they're healthy
exactly.
and of safe mind and they're not scary to me.
No, exactly. I'm not intimidated.
I wasn't highlighting that for a particular reason,
I
by
was
the way. I
just
was
thinking
just
we're down to the
doing
last 10
stuff.
minutes. I think we ought to end it on a high
I'm down.
in terms of the idols thing. Growing up,
I'm down.
I think there wasn't so many women in the spotlight to idolize. And I think it's so, so important to have that representation of
Yeah.
people that you do idolize for lots of different reasons, so that you kind of have somebody you want to grow into. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. Idols are a great, if you don't have much guidance, you can look at these people. How did they do these things? And it's just like, oh, I'll try that too. It's such a good way of like, and I don't think you asked at school, aren't you? Who's your idol? And I feel like you don't get asked that much when you get older.
and
So
you
you
should
don't
have
really,
more than one, and males and females. I had a lot of male idols growing up.
yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I wasn't taught to idolize women. I was taught to idolize men.
I think it would be easy for me to find a longer list of men for that reason. Um, yeah,
So
definitely.
that's definitely something I'd like to change for the future generation, is for them to have pride in what women are capable of and lots of
Definitely.
different women to look at for that reason.
So to inspire you, we've got some of the women that have inspired us the most in this life, and we'd like to introduce you to some.
Hey,
So shout out winner of the first Patreon.
shout out, Ali.
We
My
love you,
mum.
Ali.
So we're just going to kind of talk about a couple of reasons for each of them why we admire them. But for this one, it's definitely that my mum always puts other people first. She is that epitome of the female nurturer, you know. And I think if you're gonna idolize somebody for being kind and caring, then I've definitely grown up and thought, my God, when they say, oh, if you could pick someone to be your mum, it'd be you. I mean this about this person. She is the most supportive, like thoughtful person ever. And I absolutely love her for it. And
I
independent.
agree.
The older she's got, the more kind of she's shone in being strong with who she is.
Yeah.
And I love that. So
I agree. I mean, considering it's your mum, I've received so much support from her just from doing this with you. Like, it's not like, I don't know, she's just a very selfless, very sweet
yeah,
person.
that's the thing. And she is a very loving, lovely person. I admire her for it.
Definitely. The way she's been pushing herself out of her comfort zone this past 2 years now.
Yeah.
She's a year
It's
and
a
a
really
half.
nice journey to
It's
been
awesome.
witnessing.
So yeah, shout out, Ali. And I love this picture. It was when you'd got your award, and we were just sat there. And I just looked around, and she was so proud of you. I've got pictures of her taking pictures of you,
Oh,
and they're so
very
sweet.
sweet. Okay, next one.
Next one is the lady of my life. This is my mum.
Hey.
This is literally her in Portugal over Christmas.
Oh,
She
very nice.
she's still there now, and she's not back for another 2 weeks, I believe.
You've got to admire a woman that's got a second home in Portugal.
She found her a man that made that. No, I'm joking. They work together. But yeah, what can I say about my mum? She is a strong Leo. If you subscribe to horoscopes and stuff like that, yeah, she is a true fire sign. She is stubborn. She's someone that has obviously always been. I've known her since I was born. But she makes me smile. From a young age, she was like the wisdom. She knew everything. She's an accountant. Her maths are insane. Remembering numbers and dates and stuff. She can be like, oh, I did it.
Cool.
She's gone through so many like life changes. Like she was a policewoman in London before she met my dad.
Got to be a really strong character. to have been a female police officer.
Even in a skirt and heels, yeah.
We've been a lot of
Definitely. She's got loads of life stories, some really interesting, just stories, basically. I will never get bored listening to her. And I think that's everyone feels that about their mum, right?
Yeah. No, but I like that you feel like she's interesting as a person, and I think that is a
Yeah.
big female, isn't it? If you're interested,
Yeah.
just threatening instead.
I think something that I got to appreciate about my mum later on in life, that is that she's hilarious. She's a nut job, but she's hilarious. And I spent a lot of my childhood thinking like she's a bit straight-laced and a bit like accountant, very
Yeah.
like she'd laugh every so often. And if I could make her laugh, I'd be like, oh, my best day ever. Do you know what I mean? I've accomplished it. But I went on holiday with her last year to Portugal. We spent a few days in Lisbon together. The woman is like a child. We're trying to go to sleep, and she's like, that wardrobe reminds me of the Wizard of Oz.
And when she likes Stephanie, do rocks grow?
The rocks grow. Yeah, that was the moment I realised she's smart, but not about everything.
Brilliant.
No, they do not. It's the opposite, Mum.
We're gonna have to really whiz through these next ones.
Yeah, let's go for it. You've got to take some time for a parent.
Okay. Do we really even need to say anything about Judge Judy?
I think we know how you feel about Judge Judy.
That, you know, when it comes to my mum being the kind of kind, caring, loving, nurture soul, and then Judy takes no prisoners, it's like, yeah, bit of that, boom, happy. There we go. Next one.
That is a strong woman. Next, we have the beautiful Banu.
Hey.
Oh, a woman that brought me to tears with a beautiful speech. If you ever get to listen to her talk, please do.
Yeah, and she's for the Women Empowerment Network, I think it is, the WEN. She's one of their advocates, and rightly so. She was also one of the first female police officers in Leicestershire, I think, for all those years ago. Single mum, went through loads of adversity.
Yeah, a really interesting story.
And she dedicates her life to inspiring other women, which I think that is the ultimate.
Definitely. She's supported us since
we met her. She came to support me doing a charity event. I needed volunteers at a boxing event. And when Banu came through, that was my first ever meeting of her. I thought, what is this lady doing here? Like, you know, and she was like, do you think they'll let me in the ring? She's such a firecracker.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Don't be worried about her being fragile. She'll beat you up. She won't take no.
Hey, my cousin Soph. Definitely an inspiration because she's always followed her dreams, and I absolutely admire her for that. She went off to India and worked in India for so many years, and when I went to see her out in India and realized, you know, what a challenging country that was, it just made me, the respect level just kind of heighten even more, because I was like, wow, you are not letting anybody kind of, and I love the fact that she'll chase her dreams and she's not afraid to say, right, what's the next mission? She doesn't kind of just keep hammering through like, oh, I've got something to prove to people. Yeah. She's following what she wants to do, and I think that's great. I think yoga teachers on the next mission, but
I love that. She just sounds like a very like she lets the journey experience.
Yeah,
she just goes with it, and that's a
so
beautiful.
From dancing to acting, and then now it sounds like she's kind of hitting a spiritual, and then wants to empower other people. So
she's slaying in India, is it?
Yeah, that's when we were in India together.
Awesome. Serge, I don't know if you're still with us in the chat.
Well, if anyone follows our podcast, they'll know all about Serge because we're featured quite a few times now.
And you'll know Serge. And on Friday, to celebrate International Women's Day, we'll be posting the excerpt from the 12-hour stream where I spoke to the lovely Serge, and you get to enjoy that as like a video highlight on its own.
Brilliant.
It's a bit of a long video to wade through. So doing incredible things, training women. She's this inclusion, inspire inclusion. She's doing that. She's spreading workplaces, the good courses they need, providing them what they need to be able to support.
You'll be on the mindset course.
That's what I'm doing tomorrow. Half-day course with the lovely Serge, and I'm hoping to vlog as much as I can of it as well.
Awesome. Forward to that. Oh, she's still here. Hey.
Love you, Serge. I hope you feel all the warmth through the ether. We love you. Shout out. Next up, we have the lovely Flamingo.
Lily.
Flamingo AF.
Yeah,
Steph and Lily. They have names.
And yeah, and that's the thing. Obviously, as a pair, they're very, very inspiring. But then individually, they've both got their complete own journeys. Steph being an ex binge drinker who, you know, she still might go back to drinking. She's not exactly dedicated to this life. But then what did Lily say in her own words? I can't drink, else I'll die. Lily's a recovering alcoholic. So two very different journeys, but the inspiration that they are providing for a whole community of people is just insane.
That showing that there's still fun after sobriety. These girls are trailblazing it, and it's so fun watching their journey.
It is. And I think obviously I just said about Steph is an ex binge drinker, and she, you know, sometimes she mentions about going back to it, but I think recently she had a bit of an epiphany where she was like, I'm just done with it. I am genuinely done with it. So watch this space.
And that's a beautiful message. I'm sure she's encouraged many to feel exactly the same.
Yeah, I think it's really important to be like, sobriety isn't just for those that have fallen into alcoholism, you know, sobriety is for anybody.
Next up we have attention,
Hey,
the badass herself.
Yeah, this is my sister Lottie. She's 16 years old. And she's just gone off to train in the army, to do her army training. And I just think, what a brilliant example of a young woman.
A strong,
Yeah, an amazing footballer.
strong,
She's
brave.
thoughtful.
Yeah, any of these, like, oh, if a woman's that good at that sort of stuff, she must be a right dude. Look how stunning this girl is.
She's absolutely such a lovely soul as well. You know, like, she is so funny. She's like mischievous. She's up for a laugh. And the heartbreaking thing has been watching her go through anxiety in her teens. You know, like watching her struggle with her confidence, and you're like, oh, if you could see you through my eyes, you would never ever question yourself ever again.
Ain't it? We I was saying before, we do not deserve this lady supporting us, saving us, protecting us in this awful country. So shout out,
So,
King, God save her, King save her, whatever it is, King save her. What the hell? Keep her safe, Lord, Buddha, Jesus,
everybody.
Allah, everyone, please. And then we have the wonderful cat. I thought you were hiding then. She's with us today, but she is with us all the time, whether it's in spirit or physically with us. She is the most supportive. She's been there. And if you've seen Autism and Motherhood, Motherhood and Mortism, I can't remember the name of the episode now. Kat shares with us about her beautiful kids and how they keep her very busy.
Real life superwoman. Like, this woman does not stop. Like, she's wearing one of those watches that counts her steps at the minute and is regularly hitting 19,000 to 20,000 steps just on a normal day, doing a day-to-day business.
That's without adding any exercise to her regime. But yeah, they say not all heroes wear capes, and this girl is an example of this,
without a doubt. And yeah, the resilience that Kat shows and that positivity all the time. Like, she's always there to cheer you up, even if she's having it tough herself. So
definitely, I get kind of jealous because I feel like if you were my mum, you'd be so far ahead right now with the support that you'd give me. And it's just shout out that there's little ones getting this support. I love that. And moving on to the theme of Lindsay's close, long-time friends.
From childhood. My best friend Charlotte, whose birthday it was yesterday.
I love this picture.
And that's us last summer, enjoying a little barbecue night. But the reason that I've included Charlotte in this is because when we were growing up, she was so dedicated to what she wanted. Whilst I was out partying, she was doing her accountancy exams. She's one of the most disciplined people that I know. You know, like, if ever I've ever struggled to get out of bed and I'm like, oh, I'm tired, I'm like, come on, Charlotte would be up. Yeah, Charlotte would be up. Do you think she'd care? You know, she's ran marathons. She's, you know, she's everything I'm not. And that's why she's my best friend.
I can sit here and, like, the way that I gush over the stuff you do, knowing that there's like, it's like that Russian doll thing of like, there's another. Does even more.
And even like, she has so much going on. She's got young kids, a career, a house, all of the rest of it to look after, her partner, and all the rest. And yet she'll leave dinner on my doorstep to make sure that I'm okay and things like that. And you just think, what? How are you holding all of this together and still making sure that everyone else is okay? She is such an amazing person.
It's hilarious that you have you. That's just it's clicked for me.
That
That's
is
so
funny 'cause
funny.
when one of my friends, Jilly, when she met Charles, she was like, there's another one. Like,
Jesus, all these overachievers. What's wrong with you all?
shout out Charles.
About Charlotte. Big up Charlotte. We also have Breathing with Grace. Looking
This-
absolutely stunning in this woodland
I
area, by the
know.
way. Like queen.
And the reason that I thought that we wanted to give her a shout out as well is because I know that her journey the last few years and growing into who she is so inspiring. Because from what I gather, because I've not known her for very long, but she suffered with a little bit of what I have, which is like, you know, people pleasing kind of thing. And then finally having that confidence to express yourself and not feel like you're going to be called a bitch for doing so. It's like it's okay to say no, and it's just a no. You don't have to have a reason, and you know. And I think she's going through this. Well, I think she's very spiritual and has probably got to that conclusion a long time ago. But yeah, she's very inspirational for that reason. Worth giving her Instagram a follow. She shares some really nice things on there.
I'll add all the links, by the way, to all of the people that have links that they want you to
They're
find. Obviously,
all,
Charlotte does not want you adding her, so I won't be putting them in there.
The Instagram is did.
Very cool. And I'm glad that Grace is in there because the breathing work that you did has definitely inspired you on your journey as well. It's like this whole, I love that.
Yeah.
And then really quickly, mine are all, I'm going to flick through really quickly. These are the ladies in my life. Cat's excited. So, first off, we have Lisa Vanderpump. Now, all these women, if you've just seen them and you recognize them and you don't recognize them, they are all from the Real Housewives franchises. But these three are my favorite, most influential people. When I watch them, I'm like a badass. When other people write hate comments about them, I'm like, die. I protect them. And they've got their faults, believe me, but each one is an example of a badass, hardworking woman. When you get told about Real Housewives, if you don't watch it, you can fall victim to these people that are like, they ain't got any talent, they ain't got anything. Let me just let's go to school for a little bit. I've got some stuff to say. So, Lisa Vanderpump, the founder of the Vanderpump Empire, married an ex-footballer, what's his name? Todd, something Todd.
Do you want me to Google it while you?
Ken Todd. And he whisked her up very quickly and they started this empire together. Cut to many, many years later, Vanderpump Rules is born from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that Lisa Vanderpump was in. She has her own restaurants. She's had like 30 odd restaurants around the world. They're still going. So she has swans and ponies. She is like the real life Snow White. She's got like there's an episode of Vanderpump Rules where like a bird gets in a bird gets injured in her garden and she just like nurses it. She puts it like on her bosom and while she's talking to another castmate, it just like springs to life and flies off. It's like it was just her boobs that needed that. Not only that, she's strong. One of the best quotes from her is when one of her waiting staff are like, she's dramatic and she's coming to her like, oh, no. She's like, oh, you won't listen to me. You hate me, Lisa. You're trying to. And she just says, I don't care enough about you to hate you.
That is.
Oh, as a young girl, listening to that, I was like, okay. Again, Bethany Frankel, she is from the Real Housewives of New York. She is strong. She is opinionated. She reminds me very much of Sedge in the sense that she does not sugarcoat anything. And she does that because she knows that her life will be less time wasted, more beneficial. She's not got time for it. She's the kind of woman that she's like, oh, you putting makeup on me? I'm doing glam. Well, you best get arranged all my photo shoots for this week because I'm not getting in it again. We're just going to do it now. And her team, she specifies, she is the creator of the Skinny Girl brand with the bottled, the tequila, what's that tequila cocktail? Margarita. She made the first bottled margarita, basically, like pre-mixed cocktails.
Nice.
And
Can
she
I just,
sold them under this Guinea brand.
before you go on to the next one, a saying by Sedge that I love and I think is so apt for this is, I won't be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's piece of cake. And I think that's what we need to strive to be, is like, instead
Love
of
that.
that thing of, I need everyone to like me, it's like,
Love that.
you know, not everyone is gonna, but the people that do like
Yeah.
you will be, you know, they will love you.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, another similarity to Sedge with Bethany is they're both hilarious. They might be strong, but the way they put things around, it's very masculine energy. She'll put people down in their, not in a like a nasty way,
Yeah.
just in a don't waste my time kind of
You're
way.
too cute to be poor. That was my other response.
That's what
I'm
we're
too cute to be poor.
And moving on quickly to the last one, we have Candy Burris, and she is from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm saddened because apparently she's not going to be in the next season. She's taking a break. I'm hoping that she's going to be back. But if you don't know Candy, when she was younger, she wrote No Scrubs by TLC. Like she created that song, produced it. You might know that TLC didn't get much money from that. Candy did. So since then, she's made a load of other songs, but she's also created an empire through her mum and auntie having very like uh they're funny characters, and she's based a whole restaurant chain off of them. They're called the Old Lady Gang, and they appear, they'll come and like make some food in the restaurant. But she's just branded these certain things when it's from music to she's going for a Tony, an Emmy, music, like all the different awards basically. I can't remember what the acronym is now, but it's basically saying that you've got all of them within the entertainment space. She's written plays. These three women didn't just go on social media and then like start promoting some, I don't know, booty tea or whatever.
They have genuine talent.
They either had it before or they have used it to their benefits and created empires off it. So anyone that's got anything negative to say about reality TV, again, die.
She's got their backs.
But yeah, I absolutely love these women, and I love covering these ladies.
Before
Says she loves reality TV.
Yeah, if it's going to be anything, I don't know. Gotta be reality. Before we sign off, I have written a poem especially for International Women's Day, and we are going to share it on the YouTube channel on Friday. So head back over so you can listen to that, because it kind of goes through all the things that we're expected to be as women. So there's a lot of irony there. It's called How to Be a Good Woman. I don't want you to think that I'm actually telling you that these are the things you've got to do. It's the irony behind all the things that I've kind of be this, but be this, and make sure you're this, and make sure you're that, blah, blah, blah. So it will be on my TikTok and it will be on the YouTube channel.
Definitely.
By the weekend.
Yeah, I'll get everyone linked if we've mentioned someone here to their pages below. Also, if you want to sign up for the Patreon that we mentioned earlier, that you could be in the chance to win for the next draw for next week, or be picked for the Patreon of the week. What we were talking about earlier, just go back to whatever we were saying then. I'm trying to do two things at once while talking, and I'm worried that it's just going to play while I don't know, if I do that, then it won't do anything.
So yeah, we've overran.
We have overran, but I thought instead of playing the outro, I've got another poem. We weren't able to listen to yours because I couldn't get the actual visual up. But this,
and then you'd have to watch us awkwardly, like, because I was thinking, no, like we could have played the poem instead of the outro, but there'll be no visual. So
right, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna disappear, but I want to leave you with a poem by Melissa Lozada Oliva, and I wanted to make sure that I say that correctly because she highlights the way women are suppressed by the language that they use and the sort of the filler words, the the likes, the I think it's really brilliantly put. So if you've not liked and subscribed yet, please do. Next week we'll be back at the same time again, and tomorrow is Odd Jobs. At 8:10 we will be tackling a task. I'll be journaling. What are you doing?
I'm either going to be doing the research on grants that I'm meant to be doing to try and get us some funding, or dyeing my hair. I've not decided yet. I'm going to put it as a poll and you lot can decide.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's awesome. And then the Sedge interview on Friday, as well as Lindsay's poem. So go over to our YouTube channel the next 3 days now. The next 2 days, yeah. We've got some cool stuff. So to play us out, we're going to say goodbye. This is Lindsay.
And this is Steph.
We're a different human design.
And this is a different podcast.
I'm going to leave you with this poem.
Night.
Good night. Now I've got to wiggle my way out.
In my comment sections about the ways that society polices the voices of young women. And you've probably heard some of these discussions before about vocal fry or upspeak, right? But one really interesting discussion was about filler words, like the word like. And I could go on a big, long speech prof rant about this, but there was a performance piece years ago that I had the privilege to see in person by Melissa Lozada Oliva called Like Totally Whatever, that covers this better than I could ever hope to. And so I reached out to Button Poetry and they gave me permission to share this recording of it. And it sums up everything better than I could ever hope to do. So enjoy.
Like Totally Whatever, after Taylor Molly. In case you haven't realized, it has somehow become necessary for old white men to tell me how to speak. They interrupt a conversation that isn't even theirs and are like, speak like you mean it. And the internet is ruining the English language, and they put my parentheticals, my likes and ums and your knows on a wait list. Tell them no one will take them seriously in a frilly pink dress or that makeup. Tell them they have a confidence problem, that they should learn to speak up like the hyper masculine words who are always the first to raise their hands. Invisible red pens and college degrees have been making their way into the middle of my sentences. I've been crossing things out every time I take a moment to think. Declarative sentences, so called because they declared themselves to be the loudest, most truest, most taking up the most space, most totally white man sentences, have always told me that being angry has never helped like anybody, has only gotten in the way of helping them declare more shit about how they'll never be forgotten like ever. It's like F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway were geniuses for turning women into question marks. It's like rapes happen all the time on campuses, but as soon as John Krakauer writes about it, suddenly it's like innovative nonfiction and not like something girls are making up for attention. And it's like maybe I'm always speaking in questions because I'm so used to being cut off. It's like maybe this is defense mechanism. Maybe everything girls do is evolution of defense mechanism. Like this is protection. Like our likes are our knee pads. Our ums are the knives we tuck into our boots at night. Our you knows are the best friends we call when we're walking down a dark alley. Like this is how we breathe easier. But I guess feelings never helped anybody. I guess tears never made change. I guess everything girls do is a waste of time. So welcome to the bandwagon of my own uncertainty. Watch as I stick flowers in your punctuation mark guns, because you can't just challenge authority. You gotta take it to the mall too. Teach it to do the bend and snap, paint its nails, braid its hair, tell it looks really good today. And in that moment, before you murder it with all of the poison in your softness, you let it know that this moment is me using my voice